Hi everybody, welcome to the Lot Pod, the Leeds Rhinos Lot 17A podcast, kindly sponsored by ACD&B, who are a branding and creative design agency based in Farsley, Leeds. They create standout brands, so for any companies out there that need a brand new logo or a brand refresh, just get in touch with ACD&B. Thank you very kindly, as always, to them for sponsoring us on the podcast with the fanzine. We love ACD&B. So we are back after a week off, after a short break, after going into therapy, after hitting the reset button. It was kind of, I don't know, we didn't particularly... Oh, by the way, joining me as always, my right-hand man, my co-host, but our amazing Statman Reese.
I'm a stat man.
Freeze.
As I was saying there, Reese, the break that we've just had, the week off, we're pretty much... We never spoke of it, really. We just kind of both thought, yeah, we need time away from this.
Yeah, we didn't speak about it, but I would like to thank Leeds Rhinos for losing in the Challenge Cup to give me that time after the podcast, which was our biggest podcast to date by some way. But yeah, I needed a bit of a... We both of us didn't text each other. I think just in this... We were scared to say, do you want to do a pod or not? I think we both just wanted
You all right?
a bit of a week off. I mean, I didn't even watch rugby. I've watched the Challenge Cup now, but I didn't even watch the rugby at the weekend either. Just had a bit of a break.
Not a wink. Not a wink of it. I've been... You probably... I think you have as well. Just completely jumped in the deep end with the Ashes and kind of been right. Just flicked rugby league off on the old brain and flicked cricket on, and I completely forgot about it. Completely stepped away from Twitter till Sunday. Had a week off Twitter. Few bits to catch up on, which we'll do in this mailbag. This is the mailbag off the back of Wakefield.
The elephant is still in the room, just to put that out there.
It was grey with a thundercloud over it, but now it's sparkling and rainbow coloured and blowing trumpets. It's still here, but it's louder and more colourful than ever. So this is the mailbag off the back of Leeds getting battered by Wakefield. We've also got on this very podcast, if you are watching this live or watching this on our YouTube channel, we are finally, everyone says, showing off the kit designs that you've all very kindly sent in to us. So we'll talk through them and we'll kind of pick a winner as well. So we're going to start with the mailbag. We're going to do the kit designs, and then we're going to finish, unfortunately, with a preview to the Huddersfield game, because as we record this, the Rhinos are back this weekend to play Huddersfield at home. Where shall we start with this mailbag, Statman Reese?
We'll start with Ryan. So he was sent, I believe, a direct message to yourself, and he said he enjoyed the Wakey review. I think I did as well, to be fair, eventually. I did listen to it again, and I think I did enjoy it. But Ryan has said, I don't think it went unnoticed that Eddie never gave his opinion on whether Smith should stay or should be sacked. Is he still the Church of Rowan leader?
Yes, I am, Ryan. Of course I am. I did on the pod, for those that watched it live or watched it back on YouTube, I was wearing my Church of Rome badge, which I pointed to once or twice for a couple of subtle hints. I just felt at the time, because we recorded pretty much an hour and a half, 2 hours after the result.
It'd be about 3 hours, I think.
It were really, really soon after the game, and it were really raw and fresh and really sore and infected and weeping. And I kind of felt like it wasn't the time to be, I don't know, saying I still believe in Rowan. I just thought, right, my angle will be what I think the club are going to do. That's obviously wrong because he's still with us, but I still believe that Rowan can turn this mess around because this isn't his squad. And yes, I am still the Church of Rowan, not leader. That makes me feel like Christopher Lee in The Wicker Man.
I would say you are the founder, leader, high priestess, whatever you want to be. you're the what did it? What's the TV series? His Dark Materials. Did you watch that? When it's all led by the church and stuff, and
That's me,
you're kind of the Pope, really, of
the cult leader.
yeah.
I do still believe he can do it, but like I said on the Wakefield review, I'll really judge Rowan probably this time or after 10 games next year. Should he still be here? That to me will be 2 windows, as in 2 transfer windows, let's call them, 2 off seasons, where he can kind of flush the old squad out and bring his own in and kind of develop it from there. How do you feel about the Church of Rowan Rees?
I think, like you, I think I reacted at a very raw moment and frustrated moment on Sunday last week, and I think I listened to the Loose Forward podcast who said that we were maybe a bit overreactionary. Maybe we were, maybe we weren't. I think when I said the club will either stick or twist, I think they're very much stuck. Basically, what we've seen, some of the questions we've had is Tommy said complete silence from the club after the Wakefield game. Does anyone else think it's complete bollocks? Bianca said, "What's happening to the Church of Rowan? Is it still a physical building?" I think that they decided to stick and not twist with him, which I think is fine. I kind of do want him to see the season out, but I think I did say in the moment that I think I did want him to be sacked, and I don't want him as an individual to be sacked. But at that moment in time, I didn't see the way out of it, and in the moment, I still don't see a way out. I don't see how he's going to change things around, but I'm happy to be proven wrong.
What happens? You're probably going to guess what I'm going to ask you right now. If we lose against Huddersfield, because this is a home game,
you may be stood on your own at the pulpit in the Church of Rowan, preaching to yourself.
Because at the end of Wakefield, which is an away game, it was, I was there, I stayed right till the death, and there was a lot of tension. The players were getting a couple of pelters from fans.
But this is at home.
But this is a home
on a
game.
Night that they've maybe upped the ante a bit, and obviously the what we're doing on the night for Rob and his family is what we should be doing. But if anything, that almost adds a bit more pressure, I think. In they're doing an event for MND, they're doing it for they've made the event about Rob and his family, and if anything, that puts more pressure on them, because a lot of Leeds fans, and rightly so, will look at someone like Rob, who gave everything in his shirt as a player, and to that generation, and will compare.
So, do you think should we lose on Friday? Do you think that could be it? So that's enough.
I don't know if it'll be enough. I think I think it's more down to the attitude again of the players. If they give absolutely everything and they just are unlucky in terms of the loss, then most people, or not most, but some people might be all right with it. If they lose into the manner they have been losing to Wakefield and how we lost to Cass, and that decline continues, I imagine the reaction at full time will be quite. I don't think tense is the wrong word. It's whatever the word comes after. If there's a league table of what comes after tense, it's that.
We'll win anyway, so it's a bit of a mute point.
Jake Connor's signing on loan before the game anyway for us, so
should do that. It can't be any worse than what we've got. I'm sticking by it. I'm doubling down on Jake Connor.
No.
Will asks, what have you done, or what are you doing to try and distract yourself from Leeds Rhinos? Have you done anything, Reese? To kind of
I'm actually working. Yeah, I'm not
Reese
doing
would rather work.
I'm not doing my stats stuff on my lunch breaks anymore. I've just gone, nope. I'll actually work for my lunch today. To be honest, it's the Ashes. I got really excited for the Ashes starting on Friday. Tactical work from home day on Friday. But yeah, I think the Ashes has been my main distraction, to be honest. I imagine you're probably quite similar.
Yeah, perfect timing for the Ashes to start, especially on Friday, getting stuck into the Aussies. It's been a great test already. It finished about...
Oh, I did say to you, though, that I needed it to rain at the weekend so that I didn't have to do the decking, paint the decking, so that I could just sit in front of the telly and watch the Ashes, and it was perfect.
It was just perfect, what's it called? Couch potato weather. The Ashes has been a great test as well. So that always helps. The people listening to this saying agreeing, and the people listening to this saying cricket is the most boring sport.
Well, I've gone for a Yorkshire top today, so
I absolutely love cricket and I love the Ashes. So I've thrown myself into that. I kind of completely turned away from Twitter, so I couldn't see or even have the chance to engulf in anything rugby league related. As I've said before, I don't watch Super League. I'm not that big a fan of it. I didn't watch any of the Challenge Cup. I saw that awful challenge by it was a Lee player.
It was worse than has that been referred actually? I've not even looked at I've not even looked what they've done for that.
Worse than the Wakefield player. I mean, I think the Wakefield player got 7 games, wasn't it? I think this Lee player off the back of the Wakey player, with it being a week later, I think he'll be looking for longer. I think they'll say, you've just seen a guy get 7 games for dropping Myler, for dumping Mile on his head, and then you do it to a York player. You're getting even longer. But I can't. I think the tribunal. I think
it's been referred to tribunal, so grade F. So
he'll be getting a beauty ban from that. Next question's from Carl Martin. Hi chaps, felt for you all reviewing the Wakefield game last week, but you did a fine job. Thanks, Carl. We kind of knew, or me and Reese felt that we had to go live really quickly. There was like a demand for us to speak.
Well, mainly because Loose Forward were queuing up to watch it. Down at Bellevue were ready to watch it. There were some other fans in there, so I'm not sure. We won't ever be able to find out. Whilst it was a record podcast for us in terms of numbers, I do wonder how many of them are actually Leeds Rhinos fans. Or I think there was a fair group of people coming to have fun at Art Misery.
Loads of people to laugh at us, but that's the name of the game.
Yeah,
and we accept that. And it was. And has
because they're the biggest club in Super League. That's why.
That's in the world, and it since has, Reese has said, become our biggest ever podcast. So every cloud,
should lose every week, shouldn't we?
For the pod.
Yeah. So Hope has said some good news to come out of HQ this week. A new deal for Handley. She's asked, or Hope has asked, do you think he should be playing fullback or wing? And the quick and easy answer to this question is
wing.
Yeah, good. I'm glad we've sorted that one out. My question regarding that is, do you think that's quite a well-timed contract deal? Or do you think that was just a happy coincidence?
I think that's well-timed. But kind of, I only saw it on, obviously I heard about it, but I didn't throw myself into it as I usually would. And I thought it would have a bit of a tap-in, that one. Here's Ash, here's one of our best players. I think we're all crying out for a bit more. It were good news, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I don't want to take it away from Ash getting a deal. I think it's a fantastic, he's one of the best players in Super League in the wing. He's lethal when played on the wing. So to have him for another 3 years and signed up is fantastic. And, he's a Leeds lad. Maybe he's the sort of player that we're putting that new marquee budget towards, with the homegrown talent that only costs a certain amount. That's the sort of player that should be getting that new marquee slot.
Absolutely.
So I'm really pleased for Ash.
Especially when, or if, how Newman stays fit. Because we always say he is the one who's the marquee, but unfortunately he keeps getting injured, which breaks my heart, as I've said 10 times on this platform. But Ash, chuffed with that deal. But who asked the question? Sorry, Hope. Hope. No, we've seen him at fullback. I know. Well, Josh, one of our regulars on here, we're kind of pushing to see him at fullback, but I just feel we need to make a signing there now. It's such a specialist position. I think we've neglected, to be honest. And I've said this before, and I've said this before a million times on this podcast that I've realised listening back. I think we've neglected the halfbacks and the fullback position since X, Y, and Z have retired.
3 of your 4 positions in the spine.
Yeah,
which Josh just bangs on about left, right, and centre, doesn't he?
We've neglected it since the golden generation for me. I know we got Hardacre back, but he played centre because of Myler's form. The halves since Danny left have been.
Oh, hang on.
Oh, there we go. You know, we had Rob Louis and Luke Gale. That was a bad combo.
You were crying out for Rob Louis last week.
Managed to
You were making him the Lord and Saviour.
That's how he came across, wasn't it? And then Austin and Caesar, it's not worked. It's not going to work. So I think, and then at fullback, we haven't signed a fullback since. Well, for a while, have we? No one of any.
Well,
I know
Hardacre could have potentially classed, but he was assigned to play centre.
Yeah, Hardacre could. So I think those three positions now are key and vital in our recruitment. So I'd rather see Ash on the wing, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Laura's question next, and she's saying it was great to see Ivano speak out about his ordeal. She wishes him a speedy recovery after his stroke. Quite frightening news, wasn't it, when they revealed what had happened to him, to have a stroke? And when we've spoke to Rob Oates, he said that he's one of the fittest players in the team. He's always in the gym. They can't get him out of it. They were talking about that on the article. So quite a shock to have a player that fit to have a stroke.
It is
at the training ground.
And whenever it's any sports man, woman, sports person, and they go down, like you're right. It's shocking because you just think they are the peak. They are, especially in the professional. They've got all bells and whistles, all the medical, all the physio, all the nutritionalists. It's like you wouldn't think that someone at the peak of their powers that could happen to him, but no. Speedy recovery. I believe he's going in for some surgery as well.
Yeah, he's got a hole in his heart. So I think that one thing that I think Rhinos are very good for is that they will look after him.
Yeah.
And even if he doesn't get a new deal at the end of this year, I would imagine that Leeds would continue to look after him because they're just that sort of people. I get the impression of
a real
classy. Yeah, we wish Zane all the best.
We do, and that's from everyone at the Lot Pod, from all our regulars. It's from us all. We all wish Zane a very, very speedy recovery and a healthy recovery too. Freddie asks or says, "It's too hot to watch rugby league anyway. I'm glad we aren't playing." Yeah, that's right, Freddie. It's too warm to be stood there watching.
It's true. I mean, can you imagine Laurie on that Western Terrace in this heat at the moment?
I love how Laurie gets hammered every time the sun's out.
Yeah, well, because he walks around with Factor 50 in his pocket. He's got a photo of him and Kevin Sinfield with it recently, and you can see this big bulge in his pocket, and it's not what you think it is just a bottle of Factor 50 in his pocket. Bless him. But it is too hot to watch. I think it's too hot to play rugby. But yeah,
let's hope it rains on Friday.
Yeah. No. Well, I thought we were a dry weather side anyway.
Well, we'll try. Well, we're no good on last Sunday, were we?
No.
Roasting it. Let's try it when it's pissing it down.
Yeah. Ben said, "So we talk about Leeds United instead." That's what it's come to. Of Rhinos, folks. Something perhaps slightly more positive. I'm not sure how much positive there is. Obviously, the positive of Leeds United is that obviously the takeover's done. I'm still a bit nervous about what's to come. I think there's still a lot of it. For me, the jury's still out in terms of how successful they'll be. I am quite concerned that they've seemed to be quite sensible with this director of football temporary appointment they've done. I like that feels sensible. And I don't like it when Leeds is run sensibly because it just makes me feel a bit uneasy.
Not right.
And it all depends on the coach that we're going. Although I'm really sad that coach that we went after in January, big time, when Marsh went, that Irola's gone to bloody Bournemouth.
We'll just take Gary O'Neill. We'll do him a swap. We'll take him.
Yeah. Darren Moore's resigned from Chef Wednesday, hasn't it?
Chef Wednesday today as well. Barmy.
But, yeah.
I was thinking about this, obviously being aware that this question was coming up, and if Rowan were to get sacked on Friday or whenever, and United didn't appoint a manager, would it be the first time? And it might be one for Andrew for stats. This would it be the first time in history that both Leeds clubs would be managerless? I bet it would.
Maybe.
But it could be the first time both Leeds sides could potentially be managerless. To be fair, Ben, you are right. United are probably possibly slightly more positive than Rhinos at the moment, but I've switched off from United as well. The takeover were better, getting rid of that little ugly toad Radrizzani, kicking him out the door. But the fact that no one wants to manage Leeds, it took us ages. In fact, in the end, when we got Javi Gracia, it does anybody want this job? And he went, see. And they just said, there you go. There's the keys. It's yours. So, and it feels like we're getting to that stage now in Championship after.
I don't think we're getting to that stage of the Championship. I just think they're doing a good due diligence process by the sound of things, but we'll see.
I think they're going after people, and trying possibly, but we'll see.
I fully expect it to be Daniel Farker.
Yeah, the proof's in the pudding, and when it's Daniel Farker,
which I really hope, because if anyone has listened to the Square Ball, Michael Normanton has to do that impression of Daniel Farker every time they mention it, and he's going to have to do that for at least 4 or 5 months.
So they get
if anything,
if
anything, they should be hiring him just for that. So on to the questions on Twitter now. So we've got our usual 3 questions from Laurie. The first one is, what minute of the game on Friday will the cowbell become annoying?
The 4th.
Is there a game beforehand on Friday? Is it a double header?
I'm not. Is it?
I can't remember if it's not. But either way, it'll be at least 10 minutes before kickoff for me. That's when it'll start getting annoying for me.
4th minute. I reckon I could go 4 minutes before that.
Well, when all of their 5 minutes, 5 fans turn up anyway. Laurie's second question is, what fragrance is the best?
My favourite ever is Gucci Absolute. Harriet says it smells like war because it's really medicinal. It's got a really medicinal smell. I love it. I absolutely love it. Gucci Absolute. That's my.
I'm not that bothered about fragrances, to be honest.
Ah, yeah. Oh, I love them.
I kind of get given a bottle at Christmas, and that's my one for the year.
That's it for the whole year. Just that one and done. I do think though, and I know every man and his dog wears it, and I think it is the best selling fragrance ever. I think that's a fact. I think that's Sauvage, and that does smell gorgeous. And I know it's incredibly popular, but sometimes they're popular for a reason. So you ain't got a favourite, Reese? Old Spice, Brute,
Lynx Africa. There we go. And Laurie's last question is, what is your best skill?
Kick-ups with a football. I'm probably the best person in, I'd say Leeds without a doubt, but possibly Yorkshire, maybe England at doing kick-ups, just left foot, right foot. I could do it.
Could you do it with a rugby ball?
I don't think I've ever done it with a rugby ball, actually. I'd have to try, but with a football, I'm probably the best person in the UK at doing kick-ups, left foot, right foot. I could do it forever. I'm not showing off. I'm just really, really good at kick-ups. What's your best skill? Stats.
Football manager.
Football manager. We need an update on this.
What, football manager?
Yeah, you haven't spoken about. Where were you last time we spoke? I think you were.
I was in the 2nd division in Ukraine, and I'd got them to the top, and I got them into Europe. I'm now.
Where are you now?
In France. I'm in with Angers. They just got relegated in real life. But
that made you angry.
Well done. But yeah, currently into my 5th season with them. The problem is I just can't beat PSG. Like, there's a thing that comes out that these are the top 10 players in the world, and 8 of them currently play for PSG. Like, they've got Vinicius Junior, Mbappe, Haaland, and Neymar all in one team, and I'm like,
you're just
not gonna beat that, really. And they've been unbeaten for 3 seasons in a row, so I'm probably gonna leave there at some point. But that's where I'm up to at the moment. But yeah, best skill, I'll probably have to say stats, just because of the whole thing of why I'm on this podcast.
Of being the best statsman. Shane Vesey says, do you think rugby league would benefit a lot from a specific channel like Sky Sports News, but dedicated to just rugby league? So do you think Sky should... They do for the Ashes now. They've got Sky Sports Cricket. They've got Sky Sports.
They've always got Sky Sports Cricket, haven't they? Pretty much, haven't they?
Arena changes to NFL and
NFL. I mean, the NFL gets a dedicated channel before the rugby league does.
Yeah,
which shows you where it sits probably in Sky's remit. Or I mean, I'd be interested to see what the numbers are for an NFL game compared to what a rugby league game would be. I mean, they must think it deserves enough to get its own dedicated channel. When the season's on. I think it would be great to see, but I just don't think they see the demand there, personally, and I don't think there's enough of it. You put Sky Sports football on, and there's football on, live during the season, Tuesday, Wednesday. They've got like the Bundesliga rights, haven't they, Sky at the moment? What I would love is for one media channel just to take all of rugby. I want them to have the NRL. I want them to have Super League, Championship, League One, Challenge Cup. Although I don't mind the BBC, but Challenge Cup, because Challenge Cup was on Viaplay, wasn't it, this weekend? It was on Viaplay and the BBC, so you couldn't watch all the Challenge Cup games unless you had a dodgy box or you had Viaplay. But then I'd throw Rugby Union in there as well. I'd have all the internationals for Rugby Union. I'd have the Premiership. I'd have Top 14. I'd have the Super Rugby. I'd have all the Autumn Internationals. I'd have the Lions, and I'd make it one just dedicated
rugby network.
Rugby network. And where it had just all the rugby, down to, even if it had like the lower grade of rugby league in Australia, the Curry Cup in Rugby Union, like I'd just go like that.
Do you think you've kind of touched on it once or twice before, but BT Sport is now going forward going to be TNT Sport, and I think they've swallowed up Discovery Channel and all kinds of, they kind of swallowed all that network up and spewed it into TNT Sport. Do you think and I'm not sure when the TV deal's up with Sky, I don't know if it's this year or end of next year.
It's coming up because I've seen a couple of articles about it. But
do you think TNT could be interested, so they could be the home of rugby because they'd have both?
I don't think they would do.
No.
I honestly don't think Sky will get much competition, and that's why we don't get the money, because there's no if you said Premier League deal, I'm probably a bit unfair really, but I mean, look at the Football League, the deal that they got this year for the EFL for the football, like that was a massive deal. I mean, if cricket as well, like the Vitality Blast, there's only a couple of games that have actually got more than 5,000 people at it, but there's games nearly every night as well, so there's more of it. But I just don't think BT or TNT, whatever they're going to be called, I don't think they've got the appetite to do it.
I think the only potential for change sits with IMG. I think when they finally get the reins or control or however it is, when they come in, I think that's when they'll say, right, we need to do something about this now. And I think it'll only be when they come in that something will change. And it might not, but I think they'll push for change, be it a streaming platform or.
Would you buy a TV channel that had both Union and League on it, as if it was just one service? Because I know I'm a dual coder, so for me, it's fucking fantastic.
Perfect.
Yeah, I could buy one sports channel, and that's the only channel really I need to watch other than the cricket.
It kind of depends. It kind of depends what type of rugby league content would be on there. Now, by that I mean, obviously Super League, perhaps the Championship, that's fine. Something that I've always called for, and I have since the dawning of this podcast, is a magazine type Soccer AM footy show, magazine show, where they showcase the personalities of the sport.
Yeah.
If I had something like that where it was on twice a week, once a week, alongside just a generic magazine show where they go around the grounds with it, like Premier League World on Sky, when it just says, this week our featured team is Bournemouth, and then it'll show you clips of Bournemouth training, a couple of interviews, and around that, it'll show you the highlights of the week's Premier League games. It's really boring. You know what I mean? It's very robotic. But I just think in half an hour, it showcases a club, a player, and the whole league in half an hour. And I just think that, I know someone will probably say that's the Super League show, but things on a bigger platform, you'll probably see loads of things, Reese, that can be utilised if you watch NFL. I bet when you watch NFL, being a massive NFL fan, you must watch all the coverage, because Americans do coverage, they do documentaries better than any.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, on a match day, I've got Red Zone on, and then I've got that live games on separately. And, Red Zone I love, which I said before is like Soccer Saturday, but instead of it going to different pundits, I listen to Clinton Morrison, which I don't really want to do. Also, I can't remember who else I don't like, but it goes to the game live when something's happening, or sometimes you're watching and, the very famous phrase at the start of it is 7 hours of commercial-free football. But each year they do a season called Hard Knocks, where they where they get into a preseason and they record the preseason. There's NFL Network where there's just constantly conversation, interviews, talk about the NFL and all the shows that they do. There's NFL Total Access, there's and all that. So there's I could stick the NFL Network on and I'll just watch it. But I mean, the NFL is a completely different animal to rugby league. But I don't know. I do understand what you mean. I don't think there is that much magazine type content show for rugby league, or maybe for British rugby league. I know Six Again was saying Matty John's show is amazing. Matty John's show is amazing.
It is over on Fox. You've got to create the drama as well. If you watch Sky Sports News, particularly around football, they create theatre and drama around the smallest thing. I mean, there's been times when the headline on Sky Sports News in the past, more than once, has been, will the two managers shake hands after the game? They've made drama about that. People get, and because they do it over a weekend or a week or every hour, however it may be, it sticks in people's, and they've created that. And then come the weekend, the cameras are on the managers. Just, are these two players, are they going to shake hands? And I'm thinking, where has that come from?
Yeah. I mean, rugby league's very, very rarely mentioned in Sky Sports News when you put it on there. I mean, it annoys me when I see darts on main event ahead of the Super League, and I'm like, for fuck's sake.
They'll drop us right down to Sky Sports Mix.
Yeah. But speaking of Six Again, anyway, he sent us 3 questions, a bit like Laurie. He's asked, what's the best ice cream to have in the hot weather?
I once in Britain I had Iron Brew ice cream. So that.
Are you more of the Solero sort of like fruity ice cream person, or do you go full Magnum or Cornetto sort of?
I do love.
I'm a Magnum person. I love Magnums.
I do love Magnums.
And I know quite a few people enjoy like a Solero.
Yeah, Magnum. Especially you get that first bite, that crunch. Very, very satisfying. But I had an Iron Brew ice cream once. I think it was Brid or Scarborough. That was the best ice cream ever. What's yours?
I had a Ben and Jerry's did a special flavour with Tony's Chocolonely. And it was like a salted caramel chocolate and sort of cookie bite things. It was really, 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 really good. Not that I sat and ate a tub on the sofa watching sport whilst eating it.
In your pants?
In my pants, yeah.
It's the best way to eat ice cream, don't you think?
Yeah.
In your pants and stuff.
Yeah. I'm just going to break off for this question for a second because we've had this comment that's come through from LW saying, I'll be the cult of Rowan till I've seen what he can do next season. Mark my words, though, he will take us to Old Trafford this year. Have you been typing along whilst we've been doing this podcast? Is this you?
Not me, I'm afraid.
Is that you? Not me. There is someone else out there. There we go. And then Bry's other question is, you've got 2 more. What is the one thing you would recommend someone to do if they were visiting Leeds and not the Rhinos? At the moment, I probably wouldn't recommend that either.
Yeah. Kind of depends who it is. I do think, I always recommend people to come in for like a night out or a weekend just to do the Otley Run because you get everything. There's nothing you're not going to achieve doing the Otley Run if you can achieve to do it all. And I think Roundy Park is pretty much unbeatable because for anyone, if you've got kids, it's great. If you're going on a date, you can walk around the lake. If you want something to eat, you can eat at the Lakeside Cafe. If you want to drink, you can go to Roundy Fox. It just seems to be a bit of an all-rounder, and it's beautiful as well. I'd probably say Roundy Park or the Otley Run, if I can't say Leeds
I think
Rhinos.
I would get people to have take to some more of the historical sort of stuff in Leeds because I do like my history, and I think buildings like Kirkgate Market and the Corn Exchange, where there's so many great independents and stuff as well in there. I think I would tell people to go to stuff like that. Maybe Kirkstall Abbey, obviously a bit further out, but there's that. But then also, I think there's a really good bar scene in Leeds. I think if you know,
it's amazing.
Bars, like North Bar, the original Head of Steam, not the new Head of Steam. I don't like the new Head of Steam, but the original. Head of Steam. Cellar Bar and stuff like that. I mean, Hedgerow House I really like. So there's plenty of good bars as well, and food and drink and stuff. So I think the boring side of me that people think is the history and the buildings and some of the stuff like that, and then the going out stuff, I think. And then the final question from Bri is, do you have a toy from your past which you wish you still had and it was unopened?
Unopened?
So Laurie's answer to this was my Sega Mega Drive.
Sega Mega Drive. They were amazing. Was that the one where Alex the Kid was built in? You didn't have to put the cartridge in?
My first one was a Dreamcast. That was my first console. I don't know if what was... I'm not sure which was earlier. I think Sega Mega Drive might be earlier, like it.
Yeah, I think the Mega Drive was about 92. 93. What was the console?
It was 88 was the first Mega Drive.
What was the console before it? I think the console before it was the one that had Alex the Kid built into it. Sega Mega Drive, that was a good console, that, to be fair. You either had, or did you go from the Mega Drive to the SNES, or did you have either or? I can't quite remember.
I'm just looking now. So it was the Commodore 64 was before the Mega Drive.
Yeah, it took ages to load a game.
And then
they were on tapes, Reece, you won't remember because you weren't alive. They were on tape, and you put like a tape into a keyboard. It had to load it, but it took ages for the game to load.
Yeah, my first one was a Dreamcast. I do remember that.
That must be 2001.
A Dreamcast, 98.
98, wow.
Yeah.
Bry's got it, 6 again. It was the Master System. It was the Master System that had Alex the Kid built in. It was essentially a cartridge. The game used to be a cartridge that you'd put in.
I know what it looks like.
I'm explaining it to people like George.
Yes.
Put it into the top, and then you'd press, turn it on. But Alex the Kid were built into all the systems. It was a rock hard game. But back to Bry's question, mine would be the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like the set. I had them when I was a kid, and Jesus Christ, did I cherish them. I played with them probably till I was about 22. But if they were all packaged, I think they'd be. I kind of, every time we go to a shop, like with the kids, like B&M or Smith's or anywhere where there's toys, I'm always really intrigued because you'll still see something from when you were a kid. And there's just something inside of me that's just like...
I went to that car boot in Cone, didn't I, the other week? I was like, Christ, God, it was like a blast of the past.
And there's just I think there'll always be a little piece of me, especially now, because I'm an adult and I can just buy what I want. Not in that sense, but I mean, like, when you're a kid, you had to ask and say, can I? But now, there's been times where I've just looked at things and been like, I really want to spend 60 quid on the Optimus Prime toy.
I think my toy would probably be my Pokemon cards.
Yeah, that's true.
I was really I had that time when I remember having Beyblades. I remember the Beyblade fair, if you remember those. But Pokemon cards
were worth a pretty penny.
And I probably just got rid of them, or my dad probably put them in the tip or something. I don't know, but yeah, they've gone, I'm afraid. So I think that's my answer. And then the final questions are from David Grant, who does ask some good questions, does David. And I've met David actually at a Magic Weekend. But he has asked, who would win in a 100-meter race between us two?
If it's bang on 100 meters and no further, I reckon I could sprint that. Any further, and I'll collapse.
I think you'll have me in 100 meters. I think
Reece on distance. Even if it was 150, Reece would have me. I think over 100, I could just burst that out. Anything. I think
maybe that's a charity idea. We maybe like every
on the pitch,
every half hour for 8 hours, you've got to do a 100-meter race.
But in terms of the next question,
who would win in an arm wrestle?
Reece, 100% would beat me in an arm wrestle. I don't know why or what happened to me, but my shoulders. This is going to sound really soft, but my shoulders are so weak. Honestly, I don't know if I've got some brittle shoulder thing, but yeah, my shoulders are not made. I was once playing. Do you remember going back to games consoles? Do you remember the Wii, Nintendo Wii? You had
Yeah.
you had the joystick and you played tennis, and bowling. I was playing tennis with my friend, and I went to do a backhand like that, and my shoulder just crunched. And honestly, I nearly passed out. That's how
Did you
weak.
not work out with the Nintendo Wii that it was easier just to sit on the sofa and just do a bit of wrist action rather than having to play a full tennis game?
I was really, really drunk, and I was
Oh,
just like, I thought that if I whacked it hard, I'm doing the movement here, it'd put more backspin and topspin on it. It didn't work, and my shoulder went crunch, and I nearly passed out and threw up. That probably more to do with the drink than anything.
Probably.
That's the mailbag. Thank you, everybody. I think we handled that pretty well, especially the old elephant in the room.
Mm-hmm.
I did get one person ask me, was that the worst ever Leeds Rhinos defeat in Super League? And I think it was.
People were comparing it to the game against London, weren't they? Now, London was at home.
That was at home.
If you look at the games in isolation, I probably would say the London. Thing is, you're asking whether the London team were worse than that Wakefield side.
But that's the thing. That London side didn't they get relegated on the most points or something? They didn't just beat us. They got quite a few scalps that year.
I think probably the Wakefield game for me at the moment.
Oh, I do, without a doubt. I think the fact that we've been all over this in the review, but the fact they were averaging one try a game, they had no players, and they beat us. I think that's the worst one. So that's the mailbag. About 15,000 weeks ago, myself and Reese we designed a home kit each, and put a poll on Twitter to see who'd win, etc., etc. We showed them on the podcast on our YouTube channel, and then at that time, whenever that was, we said we would like you, the listeners, the people on Twitter, people follow us on social media, to send your designs in for us, and we'd show them on the pod, on the channel, and give them a little review. You very kindly sent them in, and here are the kit designs. This is probably something you'll have to watch back on YouTube.
Yeah, for those listening on Spotify or Apple, we will do our best to describe it. But you may want to switch on YouTube around 43 minutes to have a look at this. But the first kit, again, I believe has been designed by Eddie's, must be either his alter ego or himself under a different synonym. But for those who've seen the Stade Francais kits in Rugby Union of the past, this is very much similar to that, isn't it? It is a Danny Maguire special. What are your thoughts on this one?
It's beautiful. This has been sent in by South Stander Luke.
Oh, is it Luke?
It's Luke, and it's perfect.
Out of 10?
Absolutely perfect. It's got it's like a patchwork rainbow. It's just Danny Maguire all over it.
There's 15 photos of Danny Maguire on it, so that's why Eddie likes it. Obviously, the badge in the middle. I like the sleeves being the gold and yellow and the gold and blue. I think that's quite cool.
Is 15 enough? Could we squeeze
not for you? No,
up to 20 pictures of Danny? Try and squeeze more in. Yeah, I like it.
Out of 10?
10.
Okay, I'm going 6. Sorry, Luke.
6 out of 10. It's got Danny on it. Oh my god.
Next kit is a white jersey.
It's South Stander Luke again. He submitted 3.
With a sort of a larger middle, a larger blue and 2 sort of smaller blue stripes across around the chest bit, with the old badge sort of like subtly away in the background. I love the old badge sort of hidden in the fabric in the background. What do you think about the fact there's no yellow on it? Because I quite like it.
I do, and I think it's testament to the old and traditional, but kind of new, and it's only really missing the yellow.
I do like the fact the old badge has faded into the white of the kit,
and I love that type of collar because I think it's kind of in between, like traditional and new, and it's almost like a hybrid of football, rugby league, and I think I really like it.
I'm going for an 8 out of 10 on this one.
And I'll always be a sucker for the band across the chest and the fact it kind of bleeds into both arms. What did you give this? An 8?
I'm giving this an 8 out of 10.
I'm gonna one up that. If that was a Rhino shirt, I'd probably buy that. I'm gonna give that a 9.
Fair
That's
enough.
not bad. A 10 out of 10 and a 9 out of 10 so far for Luke. He has got a third kit.
Well, I got him 6. So is his? Because I don't have these in order. Is that Luke's?
That's Luke's home kit.
Right. So
I mean,
Luke's
that
very much in a similar kit in that it's got the badge fading in the background again, but blue as the main body, and then yellow is the stripe. So very traditional. I prefer the white kit.
I do.
I think this is a 7 out of 10 for me.
I do love that badge, like you said, faded into the background, and I think that could be something.
I think it looks a bit more subtle on the white than it does on the blue.
Yeah, it does. That auction I've kind of touched on with that disgusting
White kit.
pink and white kit, but something like that, it could. I would like that. That's just a traditional Rhino shirt, and you can't go wrong with it. I'm going to give that one a 7. That's pretty much our 2018 shirt, don't you think?
Yeah, similar, isn't it?
Very, the white. Yeah, that I'm going to give that an 8 out of 10.
Our next kit,
Luke, not bad.
You'll have to tell me who this has been sent in by.
Lyric Bible.
Fantastic, thank you.
Lyric Bible emailed this one in.
So this is a yellow and blue kit, but there's a sort of a larger traditional rugby league V in blue in the middle, and then the bottom third is also blue, and then the rest of it's yellow. And when I did the kits, I found it very, very hard not to create a Warrington kit. And I feel we're edging on the verge of a Warrington kit here. I don't know what you think.
It's very Rob Burrow Magic inspired. After like the one that.
Do you think the badge would be better in the middle?
Perhaps on
Remember like the old Saints kit that had the red with the badge in the middle?
Yeah, perhaps if it was just more central. I like it. I do. I really like it. I like the darker kind of collar and sleeve trim. But I think it's just a bit too close to that Rob shirt. But I do like it. And is it a home shirt, do you think?
I think that could be a home shirt. I think you're right. It's more of a special auction releasing the 6th kit of the season as a one-off.
Yeah, it's more like an alternative shirt, like a Magic shirt. But I really do like that darker collar and the darker trim on the sleeves. I'm going to give that a 7 out of 10.
I think I'm going to stick with a 6 on this one. I
really do like it.
The next kit is, if anything, it looks a bit grey, actually, I think I'm going to say.
This is sent in by LW, who was the person who commented on
in the comments. Fantastic. So this is like a silvery grey in the main body, and then it's got on one sleeve, it's got like a bit of a blue and yellow stripe, and then in the sort of bottom half of the jersey as well, it's got a diagonal sort of blue and yellow stripe. I really, really like this.
Reese, I agree. I absolutely love this design.
It has a bit of feeling like a training top, I have to admit. I think some people might think it looks like a training warm-up top, but I think on an athlete, because obviously we're not athletes, it probably look like a training top on us. But I think that would be a great third kit.
I love the grey. I would make one slight change. LW, can you see anyone? You need to watch this on YouTube. Everyone that's watching, listening on Spotify and iTunes, just watch it about like Reece said. Jump to 43 minutes, whatever it was. The stripe at the bottom on the front, the 2 stripes that go across like the hip area. I would adapt that and have it running across the right shoulder, so it'd be coming down that way. Then with the badge on the left. But
I don't think I'd change it. That and LW's done the shorts for this as well, so it's got the silvery grey shorts, it's got the blue socks. It's 9 out of 10 for me.
It's a 10 for me. I absolutely love it. The whole thing. I absolutely love it.
There we go.
There's another shirt from LW as well.
Okay.
Which pretty much is the same again, but a different colour.
Is it that one?
No, and it's got the socks and Is it that
no,
one?
That's Chris's.
No. Is it that one? I
That
think
one?
it's that one. Yeah, that one.
No,
Look
I
at
like
that.
this again as well.
That
Now this is a
so cool.
white kit, and it seems to have like almost like a bluey,
I hope to
like
God
a
I've got all these
turquoisey
names right.
yellow,
That is so nice.
like a Maori sort of pattern sort of thing around, literally on the bottom of the
Oh my
shorts, on the
God.
side, and then just on the tops of the shoulders.
That's even better.
Again, I think you're erring on the training top side thing here. You've got to be a bit careful, I think. But again, I'd have that as a third kit.
I love it.
Then
Absolutely love
8
it.
for me is this one.
I think it adds to it that the people that are designing these, they're not splashing all the sponsors on them, and that really appeals more, don't you feel?
I like how people have put sponsors. I mean, no one's
I
put
like that
Wilson's
they've put,
Pies on yet. Just
yeah,
putting that on there.
they've put a couple, but there's usually about 15 on them, isn't there? But I love it. I'm fairly certain that's LW again. I do apologise if I get any of these names wrong, but you can kind of see your own work on the thing. I'm gonna. I'm being too generous. I think I'll give that one a 9. That's me being slightly harsh. I do love that.
Now we've got to be careful the next one because it is Chris from ACD&B, and Chris is obviously a professional. Because look at the quality of what he's sent in. Chris has sent in 3 kits, and they all sort of follow the same theme of a traditional sort of Rhinos jersey with the larger stripe and the 2 other stripe, the smaller stripes above and below it. Now the first one has it's almost like the 2015 jersey in a way.
Pretty much is a carbon copy.
Yes, so it's got the
2015.
bottom third or bottom half as dark blue, or the blue. The stripes are the amber, and then the shoulders are the dark blue. That kit for me is a good 8 out of 10. I really like that. The next kit is white at the bottom half with 2 of the stripes being yellow, the bigger stripe being the traditional blue, and then the shoulders again being the dark blue. I think that's a 9. 9 out of 10. I would. Now, that would be a home jersey for me?
Yeah.
If we had a white jersey for a home one, that would be that one, I think. And then the one on the right, which someone in the comments has just called pornographic, so you're definitely going to want to put on YouTube now if you're not watching this. It's almost like a goldy yellow in the half, and that is pornographic. It's a 10. That's a perfect away kit for me.
The gold one.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe a third kit. I don't know.
So if it was the middle one, the white middle
one, be home one for
home,
me.
And the gold away. That
it's probably too similar, but
that white shirt in the middle there, that is just the most perfect Leeds Rhinos away shirt I've ever seen. You get the mixture of it looking new, sticking to traditional, but looking fresh at the same time. And this is kind of what I guarantee you next season, we will have traditional looking kits.
I think we've got another year yet.
Do you think so? I think
I don't think they'll go back straight away. I think they should be calling up Chris and saying how much for that design plays in the middle. Because that home is a great. I think it's a great. I don't think it's a great away kit. I think it's a good home kit. We haven't had a white kit for a while.
Do you like that? Sorry, just on this. Do you like that kind of uniform look that Chris has done in that it's the same design but different colours? Or would you prefer different kits?
I think when they're as well as done as this, I think there's an argument for it. But I almost don't think. I think if you're going to do this, I'd probably want a bit more change in the shoulders. I'd probably maybe have one that was a bit more, maybe in the middle one. If it was white, I mean, it would probably just be the Daniel Guy testimonial shirt actually. But I think I would want a bit more variety in terms of the colours of the shoulders. You've not rated these out of 10.
The home one is an 8. That white one in the middle, we'll call that the away. That's a 10. I'm not a fan of the gold. No, I'm not. I don't like gold as a colour, and I'll give that a 6.
That's your lowest score. Chris also did a Magic in tribute to Doddy Weir, where he has done basically a shirt in 4 sections. Top half of the shoulders and the chest is the dark blue, and then Doddy's tartan separating on either side of the Leeds Building Society logo. I think this is another cracking one.
I think, and on the day the Doddy shirt was released, we had a game against someone. I saw you in Henley Taps,
Yeah.
whatever game that was, and I was talking to Laurie coincidentally, in the Taps at the time, and I think Laurie said, "Have you seen the shirt?" and blah 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 blah. And I said to Laurie, if the Doddy Weir shirt was navy, where it were white, I genuinely believe you're looking at one of the best Leeds Rhinos shirts ever. And Chris has done that. And I just think that if that
I
were
think this is a
real,
9 out of 10 for me. I would have preferred that to the one they did do. I think I agree with you on
easily.
that one.
If that's the shirt, I mean, I love the shirt that Oxen did anyway, that Reese designed. But if it was navy like that, I genuinely believe you're looking at one of the best Leeds Rhino shirts ever. So that's what Chris has done. He's designed one of the best Leeds Rhino shirts ever. It's without a doubt a 10 out of 10. Without a doubt. It's gorgeous.
We've then got a really interesting kit to go next. No one else has done this colour. So I'm really intrigued in your thoughts. A colour that I think you've mentioned you wouldn't mind seeing on a Rhinos jersey again, because we had it on a away kit once, I think in 2018, or 17 maybe. It is
from Ryan Hartley.
Ryan Hartley. So Ryan's done the bottom 2/3 in bottle green and the top in black, and the sleeves in black.
What do you think of that, Reese?
I wouldn't buy it. I don't know if because I'm a traditionalist. I don't like it when Leeds United did their black and orange kit and the other ones that they've done. I just like white, blue, and amber.
As a third kit?
No, as a third kit, it wouldn't be. Suppose a bit is like, I mean, me and Laurie are bad for this, and I don't know if anyone else is like me, but if I like a shirt, I'll buy it. You know, if I see a shirt online and I like it, I'll buy it. I won't buy that.
You wouldn't buy it. What are you going to give it out of 10?
I don't think the design's bad. I just don't think it works as a Leeds shirt, so I'm going to say 6.
I'm going to give it a 6 as well. 6 out of 10. Ryan has done some more.
I'm assuming this one is Ryan's?
Correct. Very much in a similar vein to that Ryan Bailey.
A bit more colour coordinated than that Ryan Bailey one, though, I have to admit.
Looks a lot better than that Ryan Bailey one, but it's got that paint splash. See what happened there. Affecting yellow and blue. Do you like this one?
I think this is again on that verge of a warm-up top, training top design again, I think, for me. But I do like this one, actually.
I do.
I would be tempted to buy it. I'd probably go for a 7.
I would say I'd agree with that, a 7. And I think that's more of a Magic shirt.
Yeah, I think
than anything. That to me would say like a Rob Burrow shirt or an MND shirt kind of vibe to that. A charity shirt.
I'm assuming this one is also Ryan's.
It is.
So very, very similar. Instead of it being blue and yellow, it is white and yellow. Now, this I would have as a third kit.
I think is a training top. I see that as a training top.
Oh, do you?
I
would have that more as a kit than the previous one.
Really? Isn't it strange how we perceive things? That to me is a training top. I prefer the yellow one. I do like this, but that to me is probably a 5. I think that's only because I see that as a training top too. If the yellow one was the shirt, they'd probably make this one the training top to it, I think.
And then the final 2, I believe, are done by Leighton Rhino. Is that right?
Leighton Rhino's daughters. Saved the best till last, if you ask me. Look at that.
Here we have one from one of Leighton Rhino's. Actually, I can see the name there. Is that Emily? No? Emily? Yes. So Emily, who's aged 10.
Look at that.
I'm loving the all Leeds aren't we on the side of it as well. So this is almost like it's like a mirrored V, isn't it? So it's a mirrored yellow V at the top and a mirrored yellow V at the bottom with that sort of turquoisey blue.
The Rhinos badge on the left.
Yeah, I like the mirrored V sort of thing. No one does that actually, do they?
Yeah, I do.
I've not seen that before. But I think that's a great. I think that's great, Emily.
And it's in that. It's almost like now those colours, that lighter blue and kind of yellow, are the Rob Burrow colours now. Since his own children designed that shirt, I love that shirt.
Yeah, it's a 10, Emily. It's definitely a 10.
You know, the design alone, we've never seen that. That's kind of what we like about alternate shirts. Yeah, I love that one. 10 out of 10, without a doubt.
And then the next one is
look at that.
Leighton's other. It says Alana. Alana, a girl who's 8 years old, who's done sort of a yellow shirt with sort of blue squares on it, and at the top, the pink. The only kit we've had pink in. So, but the same style with the blue squares as well.
10 out of 10.
Another
design. 10. Look at that. They need these two designing our shirts.
Yeah. And Leighton Ryan has put a photo actually with his kids as well when they were doing it as well, which is
look at that.
Really good to see. So thanks for sending them through. So
thank you so much. Two little rhinos in the south. Amazing. The winners, both of them.
Emily and Alana.
Yeah, well done, you two. You've won the kit design competition. Thank you so much. On to, we should have ended on that. We could have ended on the high.
Probably could have done, really, yeah.
We should have ended on the two kids with the amazing kit design, but we've decided to end. We're going back to that elephant in the room who is now riding a penny farthing and shooting glitter farts. It's still here. Back to the elephant. Yeah, we can see it's waving at me. Leeds Rhinos do play this weekend against Huddersfield. Thoughts, Reese? Sharp intake of breath.
I mean, I'm just looking at the Giants' recent results. So they've lost to Warrington, Saints. They beat Cass, and then they lost to Salford and Lee and Hull KR, and then Hull FC. Christ. So they have won in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the league, and there might be a Challenge Cup game in there as well. We have also only won 1 in about a 7 or 8 game period. So this is two teams that are completely out of form. It's fair to say. Big calls are made for Huddersfield in that they dropped Jake Connor last week, I believe. I don't really know what to think.
Do you think, we kind of mentioned on the Wakefield review, looking ahead to this, that Luke Hooley has to play? Do you still stick with that? I do.
Well, if is Caesar fit? If Caesar's fit, do you play Caesar? Because that then just okay, fine, sound. That's fine. I think Luke deserves a game, but I really want to. The team selection for Cass and Wakefield was wrong, in my opinion. Play the players in their best positions. You've given Hanley a 3-year contract. He's the best position to wing. Get him on the wing. So I think, especially with Nene being injured as well, I think we can't be shifting stuff around too much. I don't know if Nene will be back, but I'd be starting Luke Hooley. He deserves his chance to play. And then I don't really know where to go from there, really, because if Nene's injured, then you'd probably Reece and who else in centre? Daryl? Oh no! In fact, it was HIA for Nene, shouldn't it? So he might be back.
Should be cleared, yeah.
So it could be Nene and Reece in centre. I'd have Ash and
Tyndall.
Austin.
Sinfield.
Yeah, I want Sinfield to be given a go.
Has to.
If you're playing Sinfield, I'd put Myler at fullback.
I'd put Hooley at fullback. Ash to the wing. This team for me, and I know I've kind of said I'm a fan of like hybrid players playing, here, there, and everywhere. But we're not in any position to do that now. We need to start winning games. So to try do that, I would each player in their position. So Hooley at fullback, Sinfield in the halves with Austin, Ash back to the wing. Do you think Rowan Smith, we know, under a hell of a lot of pressure? Ian Watson, again, under a hell of a lot of pressure. Does the loser of this game, Reese, get fired? Is the loser is this a loser gets the sack?
I don't think anyone gets sacked as a result
No.
of it. I think Huddersfield are massively underperformed from my expectations. I thought Huddersfield would be doing much better this year. With the quality, with the number of assists some of those players had last year. I mean, both Jake and Connor and Lola here had 30 apiece, didn't they? Pretty much. And so, yeah, I don't think either of them will get sacked. Rugby League doesn't come across that reactionary to me. But no, I don't think either of them will get the sack. I think Leeds have hit the stick card. They haven't come out and said that, which I think they probably should have done. A bit of communication, said, look, we accept it's not been good enough, but we are sticking with Rowan for the rest of the year. So get behind the boys and get behind Rowan. But so maybe because if they haven't said that, then maybe yes. But I don't think we'll see a P45 given to either.
I backed Huddersfield to make the grand final with us. So
I had them as league leaders shields.
It sounds like we may have got that wrong. We will still make the grand final, but I'm not sure on Huddersfield. A prediction, Reese, to finish things off. Have you got
this is going to be really tight. 18-16 to Leeds.
And I think we'll win by 12.
That's the lowest you've probably predicted all year.
It is all year.
So I got to prove everyone that listens to this lot pod, normally it's Leeds by 38, 40, 50. 12 is officially Eddie saying he's nervous and he's a bit worried. I am
incredibly nervous. And I think Luke Hooley will score as well. Reese, thank you as always. Thank you, everybody, for not only sending in your questions this week, but for sending in your kit designs. I do apologise. It did take us a while to get there to show them, but the longer period of time was worth it because we did get more submissions, especially the two winners from Emily and Alana. Thank you very much, everybody. We will be back this weekend to review the Huddersfield win, he says. Fingers crossed. We'll see you then. Take a deep breath. We're in it for the long haul, and we're Rhinos for life.